Okay, so Gabe was using a tool that I realized I never told you guys about, so I thought I would give you 2 seconds on it. Oh, shoot. All right, so Gabe's tool basically amounts to this. There are some possible things like this. Lists of 3 letters made out of A's and S's. There's an obvious word you can spell with this, which thank God I teach college. Okay? So, these are triangle configurations, and what they tell you is the 3 pieces that you know. Okay? You guys need to know that some of these are ambiguous, okay? Meaning that they don't give you just one answer. Cool? So we already did one of those over here, where we had, remember our example for why the law of signs can sometimes betray you, right? That was an angle, a side, and a side, right? That was the ass configuration, right? This is possibly ambiguous. Okay? The other ones I want to give you some suggestion. So what if we started with all 3 angles, right? So that looks like this. I know these 3 things. There's my triangle. I know all the angles. I know none of the sides. Is it possible for me to figure out how big the sides are?
Yeah.
No.
Sadly, no. You guys see that? Yeah. So I can figure out the relative scales of the sides, but I cannot figure out an absolute scale. You guys see this? So this one is always ambiguous, but it's only ambiguous up to scale. You guys see that?
Because you can get an approximate, kind of, or like what's the longest, what's the...
Yeah, I could definitely order the sides in terms of length, right? And I could say, well, if we call this side 1 unit, then this side is some units and this side is some units. You guys see that? But if I'm not given one of the sides and I'm not allowed to declare my own units, then I'm kind of shit out of luck on that. You guys see that? This one's possibly ambiguous, but the ask configuration was going to give us what? How many possible answers?
2.
Yeah, really just 2 answers, and this one gives me infinitely many. Yeah. You guys see that? Okay, so let's see if we can figure out some of these others. If you have all 3 sides, you guys did one of these upside, right? Some of you?
Yeah.
So if you know all 3 sides, what do you use to get one of the angles?
Inverse
Oh,
of the
the
law of cosine.
Yeah, I'd use the law of cosines and solve for the angle. You guys see that? And then once I know which angle do you use as the C?
Any angle that you want, as long as you use the other side of that angle.
Yeah, you can use any of them, right? I would recommend that you just go for the big angle off the bat, right? Because then you can use law of cosines to figure out what the others are without worrying about ambiguity most of the time. You guys see that? Okay, so law of cosines, this one. What if you know 2 angles and a side? Can that be ambiguous?
I don't think so. Because if you know 2 angles, you know the last one, and then you got more information.
Cool, good, right? So that's me saying, all right, I know one of the sides, right, this length, and then I know the 2 angles off of here. And then automatically I know the 3rd angle. You guys see that?
Yeah, just from numbers.
Yeah, from numbers, or really if I'm thinking about this in terms of triangles, right? I'm thinking trace it up and freaking calculate, right? You guys see that?
Yeah, just 180 minus the other 2.
Yeah, or 180 subtract the other 2. And then once I'm in this case,
That's exactly what he said.
I know. I'm just worried that video can't hit.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sometimes you guys' volume is like just right on the level where I'm not sure if the mic catches it or not. No, I'm not correct. I'm just repeating like a parrot. So, can you get the other two? What would you use?
Law of signs?
Yeah.
Law of signs? Do you need to check for ambiguity?
Probably.
Yeah, you probably should check for ambiguity at least. Is this an ambiguous triangle though? No. Just be careful with your law of signs. You guys see that? Cool. If you draw that nicely to scale, you should be able to straighten out which one's which.
And you can tell from the angles.
You can tell from the chalk that we're not good at that.
Yeah, I could tell from the chalk that you were a little bit rough with that.
Yeah.
You guys okay with these?
Yeah.
This is just a tool, like some people will have you memorize, this one's ambiguous, this one's fine, this one's fine, this one's ambiguous, blah, 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 blah.
That made
There's
me
a couple
sad
more.
in high school.
Yeah, I don't really care if you memorize that. I just want you to know that some of these configurations are ambiguous, and some of them lend themselves to, like, okay, I'll start with the law of cosines, or okay, I'll start with the law of sines. Cool? Questions, Steele? Okay, cool.